You're listening to a New York Yankees episode of the Jacob Valk Show. He's breaking down the team's latest goings-on as only he can. Follow him on Twitter at RealJacobValk. Here he is, Jacob Valk.
Hello, Yankees fans! Welcome to my first New York Yankees episode of the 2021 season here on the Jacob Valk Show. I am Jacob Valk, and I don't know where to start. There's obviously a lot I want to say, I just don't know where to start. This team is a joke. They're 5-10. They're the worst team in the American League. They're only slightly better than the freaking Rockies, for God's sake. This team is a joke. If you can't beat the Tampa Bay Rays, I mean, my God, what are we doing here? It's last year all over again. You can't get swept at Yankee Stadium by the Rays. That's inexcusable. I've got my buddy Mark laughing his ass off at my expense. I don't like being the butt of the joke. In this 3-game series, they only scored 7 runs. You know how many hits they got? 11. You know, I can forgive it against Tyler Glasnow. Tyler Glasnow's a really good pitcher, but they made Glasnow work. It was guys like Michael Wacha, Andrew Kittredge, and Ryan Yarborough that killed this team. That's inexcusable. Garrett Cole, another brilliant outing. 6 1/3, 10 strikeouts. The guy gets the loss. Unbelievable. Now I know how Mets fans feel in watching DeGrom. This team right now is doing nothing. Almost dead last in the American League in terms of runs scored and hits. 10th in the American League in home runs. Almost dead last in the American League in batting average. They're batting .210 as a team. You know what they're leading the American League in? Times that they were caught stealing. They haven't been caught stealing yet. Hallelujah! They haven't been caught stealing. They're doing something right. Oh, wait a minute. Whitey Herzog isn't their manager, so no, that's irrelevant. My God, this team is useless. Rougned Odor, he's going to come in so Jay Bruce doesn't have to play. Bruce is getting overwhelmed. He can't catch up to a fastball, so we'll get a guy in Odor who has 30 home run seasons under his belt. The guy's hitting 125. 125. Are you kidding me? There are players that are slated to begin the season in single A that would do better than Rougned Odor. Gleyber Torres is hitting under 200. I understand he's getting his walks. I don't want to kill Torres too much because I really like him. But he does need to get his act together. Clint Frazier and Aaron Hicks can't hit their way out of a paper bag. This is your guy, right, Yankees fans? This is the guy that you're going to rally around? Convince me that he's good? I knew he sucked. I know a terrible ball player when I see one. Shouldn't have let myself get convinced. The guy's hitting 167. I hear Yankees fans complaining that Brett Gardner is starting over Clint Frazier. Thank God that Brett Gardner is starting. Brett Gardner's hitting 240. He has a 367 on base percentage. Compared to Clint Frazier, Brett Gardner is Babe Ruth. You hear people saying that the Yankees have killed Frazier's trade value. Clint Frazier doesn't have any trade value. He never had any trade value. Get rid of him for a ham sandwich. That's all he's good for. Get me a ham sandwich that's been sitting out in the sun for a week. And I'll give you Clint Frazier. And you know what? If you throw in an egg salad sandwich that's been sitting out in the sun for a month, you can have Aaron Hicks too. It's about time the Yankees fans started booing him. I was glad to hear it. I was at the game yesterday. I was glad to hear Yankees fans booing Hicks. I never liked Hicks. Brian Cashman loves him. I don't know why. God, does he stink. You've got some Yankees fans picking on Giancarlo Stanton because he's hitting 176. Giancarlo Stanton has 12 RBIs. He has 3 home runs. I'm fine with Stanton. Stanton's doing what I want him to do. Yes, he's hitting for a low average. That's to be expected. I'm fine with Stanton. I'm fine with Sanchez. I'm fine with Urshela. But Odor, Frazier, and Hicks, my God, they are useless. And that's a third of your starting lineup right there. If you have a third of your starting lineup, one guy who's hitting third for some inexplicable reason, that's doing literally nothing at the plate, you're not going to win ball games. Outside of Cole and Montgomery, this starting rotation is useless. Jameson Taillon gets shellacked by the Blue Jays. I'm not giving up on him, but the early returns aren't positive. Corey Kluber. Corey freaking Kluber. Oh, don't worry, Yankees fans. He's healthy. We'll give him $11 million. The guy hasn't even gone 5 innings in a start this year. He started 3 games. He hasn't even thrown 80 pitches. So you're killing the bullpen, which has actually been pitching well. Outside of Nick Nelson, the stupid opener. It's not Nelson's fault. It's just the opener is ridiculous. Just start Michael King. I like Michael King a lot. Let me tell you, he has good stuff. Good sport about everything. I like him. I like him a lot. I really, really do. But I'll tell you one thing I don't like. This defense. Oh my good God almighty. All you have to do is look at yesterday. You've got Hicks and Frazier messing up easy plays that a little leaguer could make. Where the old stadium was, they have baseball fields, and you'll usually see people playing baseball as you're walking back to your car. You could pluck 2 random people from those pickup games. They'd be able to make the plays that Frazier and Hicks messed up yesterday. Oh my God, that drove me nuts. The lack of fundamentals from this team is absurd. It's enough to make any high school manager pull their hair out. They don't move runners over. When they have runners in scoring position, they can't drive them in. Their fielding percentage is the 3rd worst in the American League. They've committed 12 errors already. The Yankees have only played 15 games. Rougned Odor has already committed 2 errors. He's only played in 7 games. Gio Urshela's committed 3 errors. Torres has a bad arm. Hicks, useless. Sanchez, useless. You can put up with it only so much. But when it's costing you games, and let's be honest, the Yankees' terrible defense has cost them games, there need to be changes. I mean, let me tell you, if George Steinbrenner was still alive, Aaron Boone would probably be gone. Maybe Cashman too. I mean, it was funny, I asked my father that, driving home yesterday. I asked him, do you agree with my sentiment that if George Steinbrenner was still the owner of the Yankees, Aaron Boone would be fired and Brian Cashman maybe too? He agreed with me on Boone, and he said if Cashman was really kept to a budget, how much of this is his fault? My counter to that was, if George was still owner, there wouldn't have been a budget. Cashman could have a $500 million payroll. Steinbrenner wouldn't care. His son cares. The father didn't. I mean, you've got Hal Steinbrenner saying to Brian Cashman, you don't need a $200 million payroll to win a World Series. His theory is right. Okay, that's been proven that you don't need a gargantuan payroll to win World Series. But Brian Cashman does. Brian Cashman has shown throughout his time as Yankees general manager, and he is a future Hall of Famer. We don't think of him as one, but he is. The guy has 5 World Series rings, 4 of them as GM, 1 as a high-ranking member of the front office. He's going to have a plaque in Monument Park. But Cashman has shown time and time again that unless he is given the green light to spend money, he cannot win World Series. The one team that Brian Cashman put together without any help from Bob Watson was 2009. That offseason, Cashman signed CeCe Sabathia, AJ Burnett, and Mark Teixeira. 2 huge contracts. Sabathia and Burnett you sign right away. Mark Teixeira, you think he's going to the Red Sox? Nope, he's a Yankee. It results in you winning a World Series. That's how Cashman wins. By spending money. Brian Cashman, if you put him on a budget, cannot build a World Series winner. If you don't want to go over the luxury tax, which is reasonable. I get not wanting to pay the luxury tax every year. But if that's your point, if that's what's most important to you, then Brian Cashman can't be the GM of this team. It's just that simple. At some point, you've got to hold people accountable. You've got to hold Boone accountable. You've got to hold Cashman accountable. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of losing every damn year. Brian Cashman was the general manager of the Yankees for the whole 2010s. The Yankees never even won a pennant that decade. How does this guy still have a job? If George Steinbrenner was still here, there would have been massive changes. Now look, I know it's early. We're not a quarter of the way through the season, like we would have been last year. Baseball is a marathon, not a sprint. I understand that. This team still has time to turn it around. You look at Baseball Reference, their playoff odds are 54.6%. I like those odds. I really, really do. And it's worth noting that the last time the Yankees had the worst record in the American League was 1998. They won 125 games that year. 114 in the regular season. The best baseball team of the modern era was the 98 Yankees. But I don't see Jeter. I don't see Mariano. I don't see Bernie. I don't see Pettit. I don't see Georgie. I don't see Brocious. I don't see Tino. I don't see O'Neill. I don't see any of those guys on this team. I'm not saying that the Yankees are doomed. I'm not telling Yankees fans that the season's over. It's not. It's absolutely not. But there is reason for concern. So what can be done to address it? That's the million-dollar question. I think the biggest thing that the Yankees can do is internal. Aaron Boone and Marcus Timms, the Yankees hitting coach, need to sit these guys down and say, stop trying to hit home runs every single at-bat. All we want is for you guys to make solid contact. Move runners over. Go station to station if you have to. It's great if you hit a lot of home runs. If Aaron Judge finishes the season with 4 home runs, that's a bad season. If Giancarlo Stanton finishes the season with 3 home runs, that's a bad season. But what's more important now is improving the batting average. It's getting timely hits. I understand that it's easier said than done, but I promise you that if you get it through these guys' skulls that they don't need to hit a home run every at-bat, they just need to get a hit, you'll see a drastic increase in production. There's no question about that. It's what's doomed this team for years, constantly trying to hit home runs. Just try to get hits. That's what's most important. It doesn't need to be a home run. It's nice if it's a home run, but it doesn't need to be. You want to duplicate what the 98 Yankees did? Play more like the 98 Yankees. Those guys didn't try to hit home runs every at-bat. In fact, that team had no one that hit 30 home runs. Those guys just went out there and did their jobs. If there was a runner on third with 2 outs, they just tried to get a single. Runner on first, single to right field, try to get the runner to third. If not, you can go station to station. Single, 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 doesn't matter. Just get those runs in. That's the only thing the Yankees can do right now if they want to stop being the joke that they are right now. I'm not giving up on them. But there is cause for concern. There's no question about that. Brooklyn Nets show comes your way next week. The week after that, New York Islanders. The week after that, New York Yankees. When the playoffs start, it's going to be all Yankees. Regular episodes of the Jacob Valk Show come your way every weekday afternoon. Until next time, I am Jacob Valk saying that instead of giving players drug tests who are doing well, we should give drug tests to players who are doing poorly.